Hey guys, what is up? You ready to talk some birds at 8 o'clock on Monday night? I know I am. And my guest from the Fourth and Yawn podcast, Gayle Saunders. Why don't you introduce yourself, my guy?
So, man, this is Gayle Saunders from Fourth and Jawn. We're just talking birds 24/7, like you crazy Eagle fans always want to do. That's pretty much the lifestyle. So I'm always excited to talk about the birds. And thanks for having me on your platform, Mitch.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, man. Like everything.
I don't know if you're freezing or I'm freezing. I'm gonna hold face, man. We're gonna talk birds. If Mitch is frozen, I'm gonna pick up where Mitch is left off.
There we go.
Were you frozen or was I frozen?
I think I was losing internet. Internet, so that's my fault there. So introduce yourself and how did you become an Eagles fan?
It really started from my dad. My dad's from Philly. Grew up in Connecticut. He used to work at the Philly shipyard. So in Connecticut, they had General Dynamics, so they built submarines. So he moved up there, and I thought I was going to be a Bears fan because he named me after Gayle Saunders, the famous running back, Hall of Famer. So I was like, that's cool. But he's like, no, you're going to be an Eagle fan. He made me an Eagle fan, and it was when Randall Cunningham got injured, and somebody sent a action figure in the mail with a broken leg and with no return address on it. And I started crying, and then that's when I knew I was a diehard Eagle fan. So ever since then, it's been diehard city, and pretty much it's never stopped. It's always been a thing for me. Eagles have always kept me going through a lot of ups and downs in my life, but it's always been the one constant that always it's my passion. So just like you when you see a crazy Eagle fan, you know it right away off the bat. So
believe me, yeah. And how I was introduced to the game is kind of funny because I was at my uncle's house and we were watching the Eagles versus the Cowboys. And every time the Cowboys had the ball, my family would boo like right away. And I'm like, okay, so I gotta hate this team. Gotcha. So I was like, that's how I was introduced to the game. And yeah, Jock asks, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jock Talk? How are you, man? I finally gave you that wrench. Hopefully
there you go. Yeah, he's a good guy. What's good, Eagles Uncensored podcast? What is good with you? Foothills Vic, we got a crowd in here. So, yeah, what's your favorite memory at the link for you? Like, what was the best moment as an Eagles fan at the link?
I mean, there's kind of like two tied moments for me. I think thinking about just the Eagles going to the Super Bowl and being there for the Vikings game, and it was just a great moment. The tailgates that we had that led up to the game, to the fact that we're going to the Super Bowl, it was just a great experience. Some of the coaches were out after the game drinking with us at our tailgate to celebrate. But even the Atlanta Falcons game, I had never seen the stadium that loud in my like when Julio missed that ball. I mean, the hair on everyone's arms was standing up. I don't know whose kid I was grabbing, but we were just screaming at each other, and just the stadium shook. Like I had never felt it. It was insane. You just had to be there. But that whole run to the Super Bowl was pretty insane. So
yeah. So for me, I was at 4th and 26. So
wow.
I was there in the box seats, and there was a bunch of Packers fans there. And on the bottom here, and we were throwing beer bottles. I missed because I wasn't accurate. I hit the steps. But I was
Jeez, this guy.
Yeah. It was so cold that day. It was so cold. And watching FedEx make that catch, I'm like, dude, wow. And I was like, that's why he's one of my favorite Eagles players of all time, because of that catch.
Really? Have you met him in person?
No.
Yeah, I mean, they got. I mean, you talk about moments. I mean, how many moments like that were in his career? I think even the Dallas Cowboys game where he caught that one, and he was like, about time. He was like, he's always he's a funny dude, but
Yeah, try to get those kicks off.
Mr. Castro, you got to let me know what you need. I see this guy in person at the stadium,
Mhm.
and he doesn't even let me know. I'm sitting next to him for like 2 hours, and the guy just remembers to tell me. Come on, man.
Oh my god. So yeah, it's just great. I actually met Chad Lewis, and it's actually a funny story. There's this restaurant called TGI Fridays, and
I've heard of it.
there was a limo coming out, and I'm like, Dad, there's a limo coming. Who could it be? I see Chad Lewis, and my dad's like, that's not Chad Lewis. That's not. I'm like, Dad, take a closer look. It's Chad Lewis. He was one of my favorite is my favorite tight end of the Eagles. One of them.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, he was a good tight end for the Eagles back in the day. I felt like, and he was.
Yeah, I mean, he was steady. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was
Gutsy.
very steady. He was good, and I will never forget that moment because TGI Fridays, a guy coming in a limo, and I'm like, okay, that's something you don't see every day. Chad Lewis, an Eagle. I'm like,
Slight flex.
yeah,
Slight flex.
yeah.
Like you're not going to the Oscars, you're going to TGIFs, you know?
TGI, yeah, TGI Fridays, yep. So now let's get right into the Eagles talk, and that's Fulgham. What is going on with Travis Fulgham here, and is Whiteside going to make the roster?
With Fulgham, it's all about consistency. You talk about the opportunity to flourish in a moment when Devonta Smith goes down. You're hoping that he gets those added reps. You know, he could be that big body wideout for you. And in the time that Devonta Smith was out, it was guys like Quez Watkins who showed up and showed out. It was guys like Rager who's making ridiculous catches here and there. And then Fulgham is a guy who he's flashed here and there, but he hasn't been consistent. I think they've been pretty down on him. I think he's just moving down the depth chart. You think, after that 4-game stretch that he's had, and you add the Alshon Jeffrey stunting his growth or whatever, or you talk about his maturity. Doug Peterson made mention of his practice habits, and he even agreed to it in some of his pressers during during training camp. So, like, with all that being said, like, will the real Travis Fulgham please stand up, because we'd like to know.
Yeah, he was my pick for one of my breakout players of the year because he was doing so good in those 4 games, and Doug Peterson was like slowly taking him out of the rotation. I don't know if he got injured or anything, but it was just like he was doing so good, and now he's like nowhere to be found. I couldn't even see him on the field at all. I don't even think I saw him.
I think him not playing the first half is a sign from the coaches that, like, hey, we're challenging you, and you haven't done enough to get these reps. And I like that fact. And the other, you talk about Greg Ward. Greg Ward gets forgotten about, but like has a guy that has the ability to play special teams. We talk about the 4th, 5th, wide receiver. You got to play special teams. And Fulgham can block. He's a solid blocker and everything, but you had this perfect opportunity, and he's failed to grasp that. And like, I'm going to the joint practice tomorrow with the Jets. He's one guy I'm going to be looking at in these one-on-ones. Show me something. Like, this is every opportunity to.
Yeah, it is. And actually, Greg Ward is my surprise cut. Because after he played last year, he was like the only wide receiver we had making catches. So I'm like, he's reliable. He's got those hands. So I'm like,
Eddie, he's a punt returner too.
Pipe.
He's a punt returner. You can't sleep on having a reliable punt returner like Greg Ward.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's gonna make the team otherwise. And Whiteside making the team, I'm just like, I'm so mad about that. because he only scored 1 touchdown and I was fumbled into him. So I'm like, is he really making his team? I guess he can be in the slot, I guess. So
if you're talking about Sirianni and what he, one of his focus things that he wants to focus on is using players to their best ability. So we all know that Jaw is he's a 50-50 guy. How many jump balls on your hand can you count that the Eagles threw? Like you talk about Hakeem Butler got a jump ball. Like Jaw is known for 50-50 balls. So if you use him in the slot, if you want trying to body up smaller defenders, if he's flashed, he showed some things in camp, but you have to show this on the field. Like I really want to again see reps from him, but I know the Eagles have to be lurking. I heard N'Keal Harry was a guy that they could be interested in. If you're looking forward to trade I say bust for a bust type player and a pick to get N'Keal Harry, but I know he just had a concussion, and did he in the preseason game, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but Jaw, I mean, you have to show something, like it's really put up or shut up right now.
Yeah, and I saw on Twitter today actually about Hakeem Butler being cut. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, at the moment, they were moving him from like tight end hybrid type to wide receiver. Then they just moved him to strictly wide receiver. I just thought, again, you start looking at the back end. If you're a fifth wideout, you have to excel in special teams. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like if you're not giving anything on special teams and you haven't flashed, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And you talk about Hightower. Hightower is a guy who is in that range too. Like they're all Fulgham, Jaw, and Hightower. Hightower has showed that the ability to separate. So I think those guys, they all make sense. Hakeem I think they've seen what they've had with him. It's just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, I did not expect that at all. Like, really, I did not. I was shocked.
Really, Hakeem?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked because I was like, okay, I saw some glimpse of him potentially making a team, but then I was like, it kind of hurt me a little bit. It hurt me a little bit.
Really? I mean, I just thought, like, I mean, he does have the size and everything, but he just hasn't flashed enough. Now, if you're thinking from a GM or a perspective or Sirianni and what he might want to use, like that skill set, he's like, we can probably get another guy off the street, like, or from another team. Cuts are now happening, and that you can find another player. I think in the back end.
Yeah, and Vic brings up a good point. Actually, it's Jaw versus Hightower. I mean, yeah, I heard Hightower. It's not exactly falling in love with the game.
This is. I've heard some things. Like I can't say I can't say where I heard it from, but he has to, his maturity level as a player has to match. Like this is second year as a pro. I mean, you got to get with the program here. So I think he showed the ability to separate. Has he showed the consistency to win at the catch point? That's pretty important. He can separate, but you look at Devontae Smith and then you see the plays that he makes. It's just so effortlessly. Hightower, it's like he's fighting the football sometimes. But he has flash, but that's not enough at this point. I heard it at the wall. The funny thing is, if you knew who said that, you'd be like, "What?" I just can't say. I just can't say who said it. But again, like he's young. So if you're gambling on the the upside, then it is what it is. He knows the offense. He's been here a minute. I just think you got to put up or shut up. It's about being a pro now.
Right, yeah. And the next thing I want to bring up actually is Joe Flacco. Now I know last week he did not have the best of games. So I've been seeing on Twitter, on YouTube, people want him gone. What do you think about that? Like people want him traded.
Well, I think the Flacco signing has Andy Weidel all over it. From his days with the Ravens and just seeing what Flacco is as a veteran presence. You know, someone asked me like, "Oh, how'd you think Flacco did last game?" I said, well, I think he left out the seasoning and he put raisins in the offense because what he was doing out there, I just think as a veteran, you should be able to move the offense a little bit. I know some guys are missing up front. He's he's a kind of guy that needs to be protected. He's not like super mobile, so
Yeah.
you have to have a plan in place to protect him. But I feel like,
Yeah.
some people thought Mullins was going to take that job, and then now everyone's talking, hey, how about Minshew? How about
Mariota.
who? Mariota. I heard Mariota. I heard Nick Foles.
I heard that
Who
too.
was that? I mean, I just feel like at this point, like I'm really geared into what Jalen Hurts is. In the city of Philadelphia, we all know that QB2 is one of the most important positions ever
I was
in
just
the
going to ask
history
you how
of the
important is
sport.
that position. I was just about to ask you that.
I mean, you're only as good as your depth in the NFL. I feel like sometimes you just have to think that not everyone's gonna last the whole season. So you're talking about the offense. How will the offense look? I don't even want to say it, but if someone goes down that plays quarterback for us, how will the offense look when you have a Flacco run offense? That's why if you had a more mobile guy, that's why some people are talking about Mariota and
Josh Rosen, Jock Talk says.
Minshew, Gardner Minshew. I know Orlovsky, Dan Orlovsky was pushing that one.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, the GM who's now with the Eagles now, he drafted him, so he knows all about his game and his stash and he's got the whole 70s vibe, business in the front, party in the back, mullet.
Yep. Now
I think
for
Eagle
me,
fans are like that.
Yeah. Now for me, for Joe Flacco, he's not getting traded in my opinion. I mean, it's only preseason; it doesn't count. But the offensive line was not there, and like you said, he needs to be mobile. And with the offensive line not being there, he's like a sitting duck. He's like right there waiting to be hit. So you need to protect this guy, and I feel like Joe Flacco can adapt as the season goes on, and with that mentorship for Hurts and maybe Mullins might be cut, but that's valuable in my opinion, just the mentorship alone.
Yeah, I mean, as a veteran though, that play where he tried to pick up the fumble, the blown, the snap that went high, I was like sitting right there, and I was just like, I can't believe he's trying to pick this up, bro. Just fall down on it. Like come on, man, you're a vet. It's not like you're getting away from these guys. But again, that whole game was ugly. It's probably one of the ugliest preseason games I've seen at the link.
Yeah.
So we're gonna act like Men in Black, and we'll hold the thing up. And I want you to forget all about what you saw last week and chalk it up as a huge fat L.
Yeah. I mean, so you're going to the joint practice tomorrow. What do you expect?
I'm really looking for, the one-on-ones and the matchups that I want to see, especially from the wideouts. Just watching how Jalen Hurts when they go to team drill. I'm super excited about it. Like I'm more excited about these joint practices than the preseason game. I went to the Patriots private practice last week. That was amazing. Got to see a lot of like if I didn't see the joint practice with the Patriots, I might feel a little bit more disappointed. But from what I saw at joint practice, they look good. I mean, Jalen Hurts was the best quarterback on the field. Defensive line could not be stopped. They were eating. Overall, I mean, the whole atmosphere, the Eagles team was like they're having a great time on the sideline. They were talking shit to Jalen Mills. It just was a really good vibe in the one-on-ones. They were killing. They couldn't. Miles Sanders was the linebackers couldn't cover him space. He's making some catches out there. So overall, I like what I saw. I mean, this week I'm really just looking for the same things. I will be looking for my guys. Like I'm looking for Fulgham, seeing what he does, seeing Quez Watkins, see if he continues to do what his damage. No matter, he's shown you and this is what I'm talking about. It's like being able to flash in open practice, all off season against other teams. Quez Watkins has just been showing up. So why can't Fulgham do the same? I'd like to see Rager pop off again. I still would like to see more of Gainwell. Gainwell's an exciting piece for me.
Yep.
You see Barnett hit that tight end for Patriots? You know what? I did not.
Really?
Barnett, he's a big sneaky hit after the whistle guy. Remember Jamal Williams?
Yeah.
Knocked him out?
Yeah.
And Barnett's having a good camp, by the way. So
who? I'm sorry.
For all the Barnett is having a good camp for all the we need to trade Barnett. I know he did lower his he restructured his deal.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, what does that mean?
Apparently, reconstructed contracts don't mean anything because I said the same thing about Kerryon Johnson. Now he's out. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, Kerryon couldn't stay healthy. That was just his issue. Like, he had multiple injuries his whole career, and it's not even that long. So I think they're seeing a trend with him, and then they must like what they see. Jordan Howard is showed out. He's having a good camp, and that's one thing that you like. And then you saw the block that he put on.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Like I said before, Jordan Howard is the best blocking running back we've got. And let's say Jalen Hurts does go down. We're going to need that for Flacco, and that comes in handy. It really does. So, speaking of running back, which running back do you see? Do you see another running back getting cut?
Well, I mean, if we're going 4 here, it's Miles Sanders, it's Jordan Howard, it's Boston Scott, and Kenny Gainwell. And if you're going to keep 4, those are my guys right there. So I mean, if you the back end, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Say it again. Say all the others, and it will probably pop in my head.
The guy that we got from the Lions.
Oh, that was Kerryon Johnson, wasn't it?
No, his teammate.
Oh.
I
know who you're talking about. Guys in it. It's Huntley. Thank you.
Yeah. Huntley. He's a guy that he's flashed as well on he's broke off some runs here and there, but he's a guy on kick return. Can you see him flourishing? But then if you use guys like Quez Watkins or some of these other wide receivers back there, then what are you using Huntley for?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate the idea of Quez back there. Quez is flashed some ability with that speed. I can dig it, but I mean, you have to really find, Holyfield is again headed for the practice squad.
Yeah.
Or cut,
Yeah. So for me in the beginning, I had Boston Scott not making it in the beginning. Like I had Sanders, Kerryon Johnson, Jordan Howard, and Gainwell. Those are my 4. I didn't even have Scott.
No, I mean Scott is shown to be a giant killer when needed.
Yep.
He's got the neck roll dance. That's for excitement purposes. I feel like you can rely on him for like 2 games. If a running back went down, you had Boston Scott there for 2 games, you're like, okay, we could do this. And I just think as a weapon on screens and in space, he's very shifty. I'm more geeked about Gainwell. Like they're, Fran Duffy had mentioned in one of their pods or whatever that the way that they've been utilizing Gainwell, they pass the ball so much to him that it's like you wait till the season starts. This kid is he's a kind of guy, like if you look at the pony, 2-back sets, a guy who could move into the slot and actually play slot receiver if you wanted to. Like his hands are that good. Miles Sanders says he has like the best hands of the group. That's what you ask any beat writer, like their take on Gainwell as a pass catcher.
Mm-hmm.
I sat there with my phone, I'm watching Gainwell eat people up in space.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to go up here. Jock had a question. How did McPherson look in the squads against the Patriots?
He looked all right. He made some plays here and there, but I feel like you looked at him in the preseason game, and you're talking about, if they had our defensive line up there pushing the pocket, maybe they wouldn't have so much time to throw. I mean, and it's not, sometimes they're running zone here, a lot of zone. Like the quarterbacks were eating that up, but they were definitely picking on him a little bit. But I like that. This is where I need to see him get worked on, and I want to see how he matures. That's something that I'm always interested to see, how players rebound, like from a bad. He had a bad game. We had an interception in last night's practice.
Oh.
So people were some of the beats were excited about that, but I feel like he's flashed and made plays in preseason. Now it's all about consistency, and that's what we have Steve Nelson here for. Is he's an incubator system. He's the guy that take the lumps. He's a veteran, and you could trust that he'll be a decent player, and McPherson could just grow into a potential position. But you can't move him around too, so I'll be interested to see where they stand with Avante. Like, how sold are they on? He's the guy? Like he's in there, but like, are they trying to like move someone in and get reps? I know they had worked out Nickel Roby Coleman before he signed with another team, and I was like, why are you trying to sign NRC? I'm like, okay. But it is what it is. So we'll see. Josiah Scott, I heard that he has been up and down. So I think in terms of competition for the slot, we'll see where that goes. He might,
Yeah, I had Chris Franklin on like about a month ago, and he loves Josiah Scott. Like he loves what he's been doing. So, I mean, coming from him, he's got to be like doing well. No, that was like a month ago. But another question here from Jinx. Question for both of you: if we lose Jalen, is our season over?
I mean, I think it's you talk about a guy who has the ability to put up 300 and rush 60 plus yards, and not a lot of quarterbacks have done that. He's done it twice. I think Vic had like 4, like Steve Young had like 3, and he's under some good company. And we're talking about a guy who just was thrown into the fire. Losing that kind of ability, I mean, we know that he can use his legs, and that's another added element. I mean, if his game, his passing game is where we want it to be, where he's throwing guys open, like the added bonus is him just picking up easy chunk plays, like do rush for 1,300 yards at Oklahoma. This guy's got it in his wheelhouse. But yeah, I mean, putting that on Flacco, I couldn't see. It'd be tough.
Yeah,
it'd be real tough.
Going to last week's preseason game when Jalen Hurts was just warming up, being good, and then he was sick like randomly, the whole team kind of like gave up, in my opinion. It was like there was no heart at all. Didn't even feel like they wanted to play. That's how I saw it when Jalen Hurts was down.
I mean, Jalen Hurts is a vibe. Like, and that's the thing that people don't really understand is how much of a glue guy he is to the younger guys in this locker room. Like, I've heard from people that are close to the team just saying how much these guys gravitated towards him before he got even drafted. They said, you draft Jalen Hurts, you put him in your locker room. Watch, he's going to win over the locker room. So, I mean, he's been doing everywhere he's been, whether it be Alabama, and he came in as, it beat out the 5-star recruit, like whatever it is. He's won over locker rooms wherever he's gone. So I think you can't like manufacture like leadership. Like the guys will gravitate to who they believe is the leader, and I think he's got that ability.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, there was a lot of free agents this year that could have left, but they came back because of him, and that shows him a lot of trust and a lot of he got their back, or they got his back rather.
He's on the Bro Barn. I mean, you don't just get on the Bro Barn, man. Have you seen that thing that Lane Johnson has like the players on his barn?
Yeah.
So he's on the Bro Barn. So
yeah. So I actually this just came about. Jason Kelce. I know this is his last year. So how do you think he's going to approach it? Like, is he going to go all out, or is he going to like take a step back and try to let the other guys like evolve?
Oh no. I mean, Kelce is like, Kelce is just like, I mean, that guy's all guts, man. Like I actually met Kelce at the Eagles Autism Challenge. Got a photo with him.
Oh,
he's just a dude that I mean, he's the heart. He's pretty much the heart and soul, and that makes this team tick. Like he's a guy that you look at him for inspiration. Like that guy is the definition of a leader. He's a guy that doesn't have to say much. Like he just exudes that energy. I know he's the elder statesman in the room, but when he has to say a couple words, it's all systems go. So I think he knows, he was down there with his kids. So you see him, he saw his wife with his kids down there. And I'm looking at Kelce as like I remember when he didn't have any kids at this moment. And at preseason camp, and I'm looking at him like, oh, Kelce got married. That's awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And then he has kids. And you're like, I was like, he's like got one foot out the door, but he's like, I think he's in it to win it. Like I wouldn't mind him back for another year if he'd want to come back, but I think he could be fully in dad mode and have a career in like broadcasting if he wanted to.
Oh my God. Can you imagine that? I was just watching the Super Bowl speech the other day again, and that gave me like chills, bro. I was like, that was the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, it just now that I have a photo with me and Kelce, that's like going up on the mantle. Like that's man cave worthy.
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to meet a lot of guys this weekend. A great event, raised money for the Eagles Autism Challenge. Was talking to Devontae for a quick second. That was, this whole thing about Devontae Smith about being, he hates it here, or he's never happy. Like this guy's really super focused, very chill, very low key, very to himself. You can see him with his players, very animated when he gets around his guys. When someone asks him for an autograph, like a bunch of girls that are sitting over there, or just a group of people, he goes into the shell of like, he's not a rah look at me type of dude. You go back to watch photos of him when he won the national championship. Same. He's just like chill mode. Just a lot of who else did I mean? Matt Ertz, Malata is I mean, if you had a party, if there's one guy I wanted to invite, I bring Malata.
Really?
I mean, he'll start singing. He's a party starter, man. Like he very, very. He's a people person right off the bat, dude. Like really, really good energy. Rager was very cool. Very, some of the guys didn't. I know Quez was a lot of the guys. Some of the guys are shy, dude. Like people don't realize some of these dudes aren't like polished yet in terms of like being pros yet.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, with Devontae Smith last actually, Jack wanted to say you answer this. Gayle, when are you going to the Bro Barn?
Hey man, we're trying to hook that up because that would be amazing. Jimmy Smith from our Fourth and John show, and then he does his podcast on the road to victory. He did a interview with Lane Johnson's trainer.
Ooh.
And showed him around the Bro Barn. And he's just a very Gabe is his name. Very, very cool dude. But he's like, hey, you guys got to come to the Bro Barn. I'm like, yo, set that up. I would love to come there, whatever it takes. Like, I would love to see that.
Yeah. And did you meet Dickerson?
You know, I saw Dickerson up and close, and when I tell you how big that dude is, he's just like, we had like 15 fans that were right by the water area, and he just showed up, and he's just very jovial, very, like, you could tell he's got that energy. Dude, he's huge. He is like, he's a mauler. And then another guy who's equally, I'm not gonna say as huge, but Milton Williams.
Yeah.
Country strong, no neck, like,
wow.
Just like, you're just like, man, this, and his athletic ability for his size, you're like, Dickerson, both, like, just looking at those two pieces, talking about trench warfare, defensive line, offensive line, those two added into the mix, you got to feel happy about the future. You just hope Dickerson can stay healthy. That's a big ask.
Yeah. So there's this Eagles YouTuber. I don't know if you know his name, but Philly Jim. He went to high school with Landon Dickerson. So he was just telling us all about like these stories of him in the locker room, how he would beat up everybody on the field and stuff. He compared him to Michael Orr in The Blind Side. That's how big he is. So maybe you should reach out to him. He'll tell you guys more stories about that without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, there's a story about last season during the COVID era. He built his own like gym at his house, and he had like all the players like come to his house to work out. He had the ice tub, he had the whole thing. Like he put it all together. So you talk from a leadership standpoint, having a guy like that in your locker room, and that's why, you know, players gravitate towards him. You know, he suited up for the national championship, being injured, and it's that kind of vibes that he brings to the table, that intangibles that you like.
Yeah, yeah. And what I love the most about Dickerson is that you can put him at any spot on the O-line and he's going to succeed. I love that in a player.
The versatility you like. You think about, if a player goes down, we've seen it. We had the most banged up offensive line last year. It's funny that you bring in a guy who's been banged up to add to the banged up group. But I mean, all the draft analysts, all O-line guys were in love with Dickerson. I just feel like as long as he can stay healthy, he's a guy that you got to have your head on the swivel, because he will take you out if you're milling around the pile. So all you linebackers out there, I mean, he's got to just die. I think he might have to dial down some of that aggressiveness just to, like, you know, keep your body upright, dude. You know, because he's so huge. You look at him, you're like, bro, this guy is so huge.
Yeah. Didn't Dickerson have a railroad tie as a front bumper on his truck?
He might have.
I don't even know that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't.
He probably was. Out, I guess so.
Like he could be an extra on what's the name of that show?
So many shows out there
on HBO.
Okay. Hard Knocks?
Nope. A Dothraki. Like he could be.
Got it.
Yeah, I can't think of it. My brain is so dead, man.
I mean,
it's fried. It's fried, but I mean, he could be like he's that big. Like he's probably one of the biggest dudes I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like even if you make Brandon Brooks look small, that's kind of. And Brandon Brooks is huge.
How can you make Brandon Brooks look small?
Smaller. I'll say smaller. You know.
Dickerson reminds you of wait, what was it? reminds you of Quinn Nelson.
He does, man. He does have that angry streak, like he can flip a switch, Hulk smash, if you like.
Yo, Birdman, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Birdman, my guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. One of my good friends on here. So I just
chilled. I chilled with Birdman out in L.A.
Oh, you did?
Picked me up from the airport, man, dude. It was
legit.
Oh shit! Him and his poncho. We went to YouTube Studios. Yeah, it was a good day.
Wow. Day. Okay, was that recently?
That was Super Bowl year.
Okay. Hey, you had to celebrate somehow.
Yeah, Aaron's is like legit.
Yeah. And I actually wanted to bring this up. Talk about body size. I want to bring up Devontae Smith real quick. Because with his body size, everyone's talking about how he's going to get injured and stuff. But look at this ankle breaker he had. I mean, are you worried about his body size in the NFL when he can route run like this?
Not in the least. Like if he did what he did in SEC, can we talk about how many yards, how many touchdowns, how many he has records in the SEC as a wide receiver, and we know how many good wide receivers came out of Alabama. When I tell you about a guy who's a technician, a guy who's like I've been saying, you need a protractor to look at the angles that he's using to, like the way that he flattens his route here. He doesn't sift. The angles are perfection. The separation anxiety that's caused by the way that he runs routes is amazing. He's like when I pre-draft, he was my number one guy that I thought they should have. It was him and JC Horn if they were,
right.
And the way that he's running routes, it's I'm telling you, like I played wide receiver, and what he's doing is like watching, like if you were like, that's like Mozart. It's like he's making music with the routes and the way that he's setting up people in the stems. The DBs are so confused. Obviously, people look at his size and be like, all right, is he going to get injured? He really wasn't injured at all. I mean, he said the hardest he ever got hit was in high school. And he played how many years in SEC? Again, he's just, they call him the Slim Reaper, but he's also, if he was a Call of Duty dude, he'd be a sniper because you don't even see him coming, dude. He's on the hill taking people out. It's good. I'm telling you, man. Like I haven't been this excited for a route runner in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I agree. So I gotta ask you, what was your emotions like during the draft? Because we were like on the edge there. We were, the whole process. We had 6, 12, 10. What was going through your mind? Like, are we getting Devontae Smith here? What was going through your mind that day?
I mean, the fact that, like, when we got Devontae, like, well, first when we were at 6 and we moved back, I thought they knew that, Kyle Pitts was out off the board. And I just felt like if they move back and they got a Devontae Smith, that's a win. You're picking up an extra first, and the fact that you're getting a guy who's extremely talented. I'm so glad that they moved up and got their guy, because at this point it's about getting your guy. It's not about like, oh, we'll wait and see who comes to us. No, you need to get your dude. You need to get your dude. And I think I'm telling you, he's you bring him in and it's a benefit. It benefits Rager. Like you're watching a route god across from you put in work. Rager's routes have, I was filming one of his slants, and I also think Sirianni, his attention to detail. I mean, Keenan Allen had his best year with Sirianni as his wide receiver coach. Attention to detail, talking about the hard jabs, selling it like your 3-point shooter to make a move. Those coaching points he's talking to you about on the videos, I actually filmed him take 2 jab steps and create the separation, easy money, and then coming back with the one-hand catches, dude. Like, come on. Like,
oh my God. Rager's going to be something. I'm telling you. Rager,
I think he's a guy who's going to frustrate you at sometimes when focus drops. He did that a lot in college, but the flash plays are there. His ability to get loose, be crafty is there. But I was overall, if we're going back to draft, I was pretty, Landon Dickerson is a guy that I thought they would draft if Stoutland, like I said on our Fourth and Jawn show, I said Landon Dickerson's a target in the second round if Stoutland approves. Like if Stoutland's an Alabama guy, if he got the stamp of approval, I'm with it. Woo! I'm telling you, I'm so excited about these dudes, man. Like talking about young talent, cheap talent too.
Yeah,
like the young guns are here, and they're so hungry and just so. I think they're all like feeding off each other, which is cool, except for Falco. Like Quez, Rager, and Devontae, bro. They're just there's a good energy from those three.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, it's just insane. Ashante's looking good though.
I know. That's one thing I was looking at. I was like, yo. I was like, if Asante picks another ball off, damn it. He's the guy that was sitting there. That was the dude I wanted in the second round. You might have to smoke a little of the green too while you're at it.
There you go. So this just came to mind. It's fantasy season. I had a fantasy draft last night with a couple of people. And who do you see the Eagles? What top three players do you see, like the first three Eagles getting off the board?
The first three Eagles getting off the board, I think. I think someone might. There's a Miles Sanders. I think I don't know people are down on him because I think it's going to be a running back by committee type situation. I think probably Devontae Smith.
Okay.
And then maybe Dallas. Maybe it might be a shocker if Dallas Goedert goes before Ertz.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else offensively. Oh, my bad. And then, I mean, if you're trying to be crafty in the fourth round, maybe Jalen Hurts, fifth round.
Yeah.
And if people think that the rushing yards are real.
Yeah. This one guy, you might actually know him, Bird Gang. He took like 3 Eagles in the Eagles defense.
What was that?
Bird Gang in our fantasy draft. He took 3 Eagles players and he took the Eagles defense.
It's homerism in fantasy leagues. It is what it is. I hate to I used to work at Roto World.
Really?
Right for them. And just being like a draft geek and like not being so I'm more like into the Eagles than ever in my life. The last couple of years. So I was always dialed into fantasy. So the fact that I'm not like dialed in like I want to be, but it's good. Like I've moved on to this phase of my life where I'm like fantasy doesn't take over. I'm not in like 8 leagues anymore. I'm like more like I just want to do 2 or 3 leagues, and maybe if I don't want to root for other teams, I might take Eagles defense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Eagle players.
Now, when I was in high school, I was addicted to fantasy, dude. I did fantasy golf and NASCAR.
That's.
I was that into it.
That sounds like an addiction, my guy.
Yeah. I stopped. My grades are suffering. I was done. I was like, you know what? I did a fantasy draft 2 years ago. I had Tom Brady that year, and I also had 2017 Carson Wentz. So I'm like, I was good there. But this year is my first time back, and I kind of missed a few steps here. I felt like when I was drafting.
I have my Nickelodeon. I work at Nickelodeon MTV. So Nickelodeon, a bunch of animators. These guys have the draft every year. I've been in that for the last 15 years. It's been a thing, and for some reason, no one sent out the email. So I'm like, dude, everyone's like dads now, and like I'm like, is this the last year? Like, no, I haven't got an email yet. So I'm trying to figure out that league. Is that going to happen? Because that might break my heart.
So you said you worked at Nickelodeon. What'd you do?
Contract manager, write contracts for productions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like commercials, and there'll be a commercial like 2 days from now. We need a contract for the production company. So it's been a good run there.
Yeah.
Good run.
Yeah. Were you in charge of the NFL on Nickelodeon? Did you do some of that?
Like I'm doing contracts for Paramount with the NFL now. So like we had to do a shoot with Julian Edelman, expatriate. So I was, not too happy about that, but it's work. I mean the NFL on the Nickelodeon on NFL during the playoffs was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I bet. So I just want to go back here to what Birdman said. Why is Nick Sirianni and organization ducking with Jalen Hurts?
I think from a standpoint of making him work for everything and not handing it over to him. We all know what it is, right? We all know what it is, but I'm going to be honest, and I think the Deshaun Watson cloud is lurking. But that doesn't mean to say that they don't believe in Jalen. I just think it's lurking. Like there's as much as some of us don't want the negative vibes. If everything clears, the Eagles might be in the mix. If you listen to some of the pundits out there, some guys that are dialed in, like a Peter King, he said the trade won't happen until next year. He said if a trade happens, if it's perfectly set up for Eagles, how about we say when Jalen pops off, you have a guy that's under $2 million. You can build around that. 80 million, 3 first rounds picks. This is like a test run. He has the takeoff lane right in front of him. If he takes off and it's effortlessly, you ain't got to think about nothing next year. But if he takes off and it's a rocky up and down flight and landing, you got the ammo to do some stuff. I just know they're lurking.
Yeah. Now, let's say Deshaun Watson did not have any of those legal stuff, whatever that is. Would Deshaun Watson be here right now?
Why? I wouldn't even, if I don't even like if. Yeah, he probably would be.
Yeah.
But what I've heard from some people is like the Eagles are interested, but not the way that the media is making them seem like they're interested.
Okay. All right.
That's one thing I've heard. So.
Yeah. And Birdman also asked, why do I feel Miles is declining?
I feel like the way that he's, written about, like, how many beat writers have like they're monitoring his drops? Like, how many times a running back drops? Like, I played running back, all through high school, and I played wide receiver in college. But like, drops happen. So I mean, like the way that they're monitoring his drops, like, yeah, it's a little. I think it's a little overboard. Like, yeah, Miles Sanders had one drop in practice today. Like, drops happen. If we see in the game, if we see perfect ball placement, like we saw in previous years, but like the ball placement to Miles Sanders was not that great. He was frustrated in the passing game. You could see it. They weren't on the same page. But I think he's just going to have to show improve. And then, I mean, here's the key thing here. Like Kenneth Gainwell, he's here for a reason. He's a guy that could be your Nyheim Hines. He could do the orbit motion. You could do so much with Gainwell. If they want to use him more in the passing game, you have a guy that can do it. for
Right. I
the
just can't
people who are
imagine.
drafting Miles Sanders high. I'm just saying Kenneth Gainwell is lurking to pick up those PPR points.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait for that backfield over Gainwell and Sanders, though. I just can't wait for that.
That's love. That's if you put him in motion into the slot, I'll be like that. Those are the kind of things, even though they're something small, but if you add those kind of wrinkles, those are the kind of things that could make the offense dynamic, and with the ability to roll Jalen Hurts out and do some trickery. I mean, it could be interesting, man. It could be really, and again, like everybody who's like, I'm gonna give a big Aaron Rodgers relax to the fan base. Like, let's take a chill. They're not showing you anything in preseason. They're not. I don't even know how sick he was. All I know is I was filming him dancing for a good 5 minutes. I filmed all the warm-ups. I posted it on Twitter. He looked fine, and they just didn't play him because they said he's sick and went to the hospital. But I'm like, really? I just think they're not showing you anything. Even in these joint practices, they're not showing you anything.
Yeah, they're not. They don't want to give it away. Like,
Nothing.
It's common sense right there.
Like, people want to see. You're not seeing anything. So,
yeah. So what happens if Jalen has a Russell Wilson start?
Hey, remember when Seattle, when Russell Wilson he overtook that spot? I think we've seen Jalen have like a Russ and Wilson first couple of games. I feel like, I mean, it is what if he has a Russell Wilson start. I mean, he's your guy. Like, you're talking about if he has like a solid start out the gate. You know what this does for the rest of the team? The energy level. Like, this whole rent is due vibe. Whole rent is due mantra. Like, and everything is all paying off, and it all comes together. You could see this team do some things where everyone has already written them off. They're right in the perfect. I think they're right in the perfect spot for us right now, because everyone's kicking them down and everyone's downplaying what they are. The rookie head coach. That's where we need them to be. We need them to, like, sneak up on some people and start biting people, because we know we are the underdogs. They embrace that role.
Yeah,
I think Russell Wilson. I think he doesn't have the arm talent of Russell Wilson, but he has the legs.
Yeah, and he's definitely has his accuracy gotten better. You think since the beginning of the training camp?
Yeah, I think he's thrown a lot of guys open. His deep ball accuracy is something that was better than Wentz's. I think he made some big boy throws. We know Alshon Jeffrey caught a nice back shoulder fade with a blitz right in front of Jalen Hurts' face on his first start. So I mean, he throws. He's throwing a lot of guys open in camp. I think I like what I see. I like what I saw when I was at the joint practice. I was like, okay, Jalen. It's just weird, man. It's just weird watching Jalen in an off season, like, be the guy, like, after Carson Wentz the last couple of years, and the fact that there's a whole just new vibe in camp. It's now, I've been to private practices before, like last year. There's just different vibe to this team right now. Yeah. And I don't know if that's like it's just all new, fresh car scent in the car at the moment, but I do feel it's a different vibe with a lot of younger guys that are making it their team.
Yeah, I've never been to an Eagles practice. I've been to a couple of Sixers ones, like the Sixers one back in the day. So those are good, except for the talent we had. Like, we had Bynum, we had Swaggy P, those guys. But it was so fun. Bynum signed the basketball I had with Moses Malone's signature on it. So that ball is now gone.
Oh, good. Jeez.
Doug Collins signed it too. So did World Be Free. So
where's the ball? Where's the ball at? Still there?
It's in my room.
Yeah, get buying them off that ball.
I don't know what to do. People are
Like
like, just stupid. People are like, sell that thing.
I had a Brandon Graham. I had like who else did I have on there? I had I think it was Lane Johnson, and I had a Donald Pumphrey on one helmet. I was like, bro, we had to take Pumphrey's autograph off that. Like, nah, can't do it.
Yeah, I have a football signed by Lito Shepard.
That's good. He was at our tailgate.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He showed up. Yeah, he showed up. And a lot of our people at the tailgate were like, "No way, is that Lito Shepard?" I'm like, "Yo, Lito Shepard's here," and he signed autographs, and he was just really, really, really good dude.
He seems like a good dude just by like the way he plays and everything. He seems like a very good dude.
Just great energy. He was smiling, had a good time. Just it was enjoying the company. Like some players that come back aren't always as friendly, but he was super friendly.
Yeah, I agree. Jalen's footwork against the Steelers, that was good. That was really good.
I mean, I after that Steelers game, I left feeling on a high. Like it was enough for me to get through the week, enough to be like, you know what, Jalen Hurts did enough for me. He moved the ball. He threw Goddard open. He changed that route on there. I mean, if Ertz catches that ball, we have a touchdown there. We'll probably drive for a touchdown. I saw enough, and if he hits Quez Watkins on that one throw, that would have been nice. That would have been nice.
He would have had over like 140 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That would ignite the whole
link,
team Hurts vibe. Like I still feel like our fan base is like, I just don't get. I really, after seeing so many quarterbacks and controversies and everything, just it's been so hard for the fan base, for a certain part of the fan base, just to get behind their players. Like, come on, man, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Birdman goes, why do we feel privileged not to have Jalen play, and I have to watch Trey Lance play?
And I have to watch Trey Lance play. Why do we feel privileged not to have Jalen play? And I have to watch Trey Lance play. I mean, I just think you just like you watch some of these preseason games and you're like, oh man, look at their starting quarterbacks. Do put in work and stuff like that. I mean, you also saw Justin Fields get lit up.
Yeah.
Empty back. He didn't see that guy coming. But hey, man, again, we're not trying to show shit. So like, as much as you want to be geeked about preseason and show some of your plays.
Yeah, and Russell Sports here is a 49ers content creator, my guy. And dude, I actually drafted George Kittle. I was like, hey, I'll take that. I'll take Kittle.
Oh, Kittle's tight end god, man. That's tight end number 1.
Yeah. And people were like, I'm not sure about the quarterback situation, but I'm like, hey, he's still gonna get his touches no matter what. He's still gonna get stuff. So
Kittle's the kind of guy he takes more, just the same amount of pride as like burying somebody than catching a touchdown. Like his blocking highlights are like, whew.
Yeah. Quezer's grabbed on that 98. Nobody mentions that. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Jock Talk does. Jock Talk does.
I mean, do you really? I don't believe he was grabbed. What's there actual footage of him being grabbed?
I'd have to look back at it. I was at the game though.
I gotta see if that was actually a thing. Because if it wasn't, then it's just timing. If it was, I don't know. If it was just grabbing him. Walking.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quez, he's if Quez lights, if Quez puts on at this joint practice the next 2 days, and then he puts on in preseason, I'll be like, oh god, this guy.
Yeah. Now, was Quez injured last year?
I think he was a little bit. I know they sat him out. I do know that he built a solid relationship with Hurts.
Yeah.
I know that. I heard that was he was like, Hurts kept those guys together. So that relationship you're seeing on the field, kind of like matches what they have off the field. I actually did a pair of kicks for Quez,
Really?
and I saw him at the autism challenge. I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "Yo, I'm Gayle, blah blah blah. I'm the one that made the Jordans for you, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh shit!" I was like, he's like, "Oh, I like them, man. Appreciate it, blah blah blah." I want him to wear them in public. That would be nice.
That would be nice. Oh my
That would be
god.
nice. But yeah, it was a good friend of mine. Hooked. He was like, "Hey, can you hook these up for Quez?" I'm like, "Yeah, no doubt." So, I just feel like who else are we looking for to shine
There's like so
against the
many.
Jets?
There's so many players that we expect to sign. Goddard, I feel like he's gonna break out this year. I mean, he's on his contract year, and he's the definite number one tight end in my eyes. What do you think?
This is the breakout year. This is like the money year. I did meet Dallas Goedert too.
Huh?
Awesome, cool. I said I did meet
Oh,
Dallas
okay.
Goedert too on Saturday. Dude's huge, man. That's one thing. Like when you look at him, because I met Ertz too, but like Goddard is like small forward. Like he's just huge and just lanky. I think he's really gonna like eat. And for me, he's the guy that, if you ask my Jawn guys before he even got drafted, he was the first player that I put in our inbox and I said, "This is the guy to look at." Everyone's like, "But we have Zach Ertz." I said, "This is a forecasting move." And so for me to sit here and be in this moment talking to you about Dallas Goedert being tight end one, this is what I was forecasting like years ago. And the fact that we're here now, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what he can do. And I feel like if he can stay healthy, it's something that we really need to talk about. And the fact that they only played 2 games together last season. We're talking about, 2 tight end sets and everyone's like, rah, rah. We didn't only got 2 games of that last year. So if they can stay healthy together, what can't they do? You look at Sirianni, right. He has a video where he's in a Colts outfit as a coach talking about 2 tight end sets, and they bring up a video of us in the Super Bowl and just talking about the importance of having 2 valuable tight ends. Fast forward, now he has those guys he's like talking about in the video. I think he's really gonna. It's all about mismatches, and with those 2 guys, I think he can find some mismatches. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and who was that tight end that got injured? Oh, Kroom. Kroom got injured. That was like devastating. He's out. I feel like he's out.
Yeah, he's done. And we picked up that the new tight end, Carey something.
Is he actually going to make it now, or I feel like he's just there for a camp body?
I think he's just he's a camp body.
Yeah, sure. You've seen that video too.
Like, I mean, it's just like everyone, everyone has like their players that they're like, the back end of the roster guys, the Paul Turners of the world. I'm like, they're nice stories, but let's get real here. Who's the Florida wide receiver that got injured?
Oh,
and everyone was like, I was like, relax, guys, come on. I was like, relax. It's
the thing with the Eagles fans, we tend to panic. Like there's no other. Oh, Grimes.
Yeah, Trevon Grimes.
Yeah.
I was like, relax, guys.
Yeah.
Relax.
I was bummed I was so bummed. But is he on our team on the IR or is he completely gone?
I thought he was on the IR.
So did I. That was the last thing I heard. Okay. So he's on the IR. That's good. So, yeah. So, last thing before I let you go, because I bet you're probably busy and everything. So, I think, what's your prediction for this year, the record wise? He's gone. Thanks, Doc.
Is he with he's waived. Is he waived?
Doc said he's gone.
He's
So,
gone, I believe. Okay.
if Doc says he's gone,
prediction.
I believe he's gone.
Could we go 10-7?
You're going 10-7. I'm going 9-8.
I like to say 9-8, but I think there could be a possibility where we shock some folks. I've been saying 9-8 for a long time and now that we get closer to the season, I'm trying to be. If you ask anyone who asked me like in the past, I don't like to give predictions because like I don't want to put that when I'm talking about speaking things into existence. I don't want to put the negative vibes on them early, but I think if you go 500, you could win the NFC East. So a 9-8 type scenario, 10-7. I see a lot of people putting 7-10 out there.
Chris Franklin did that 7-10.
That's something I've heard a lot. I do think I don't see why can't they get more I don't know, man. If they catch a lightning in a bottle, this team could surprise some folks. This defense is going to be better than what people expect.
Oh yeah, I completely.
That's what I don't. Their front four is fearsome, and then they have 2 extra guys coming in off the edge.
Yeah.
Whether it be Barnett, we have Barnett and Kerrigan.
Don't forget Eric Olsen too.
Yeah, I mean, but just think about like you having those fastballs off the edge, and then Josh Sweat has been lethal. Like Lane Johnson, he's just like my 2 breakout guys. Josh Sweat has been an animal. He's like Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata has been like incredible.
Yeah.
Ryan Kerrigan says he's going to be a problem for years to come. I don't know what's gotten in Josh Sweat, but that boy is like bringing it.
You know what? Since you brought up Mailata, I'll bring this up really quick. Andre Dillard, do you think he'll be traded?
I think he's a guy who's probably getting, teams are probably showing interest, especially what you might like. I've heard like 6th round, like, 5th round, or if you're lucky, 5th round for Dillard at this moment. Like, I think, I don't know, man. Me personally, I keep a dude around. We were the most banged up offensive line last year. Has he shown some flashes here and there? Yeah, like I'd like to keep him. I personally would like to keep him, but I think LaRaven Clark is a guy he's a guy who is in the mix. If they feel like LaRaven can give you enough, then Dillard could be expendable.
Yeah.
But if it's all about Stoutland, if Stoutland gives up on you, it's over. It's over.
Right. In my opinion about Dillard, we got him 1st round. You've been beat out by a guy who played rugby, drafted 7th round, who's bigger, stronger, and faster than you, beat you out, and you've been playing football all your life. Okay? And we picked him over some heavy talent there. Over heavy talent. So, in my opinion, he's a bust. What do you think?
I just think mentally he hasn't put it together. There's a part of like, functional strength was my thing. Him coming out. I know as a freshman he was like in college. He was like as a lineman in the 250s. So like the amount of weight he's put on his body and like to mentally get there, he's got to. And that's something that you can't really mentally if you just have it. Like Mailata is a guy that I had in my 7th round mock, and I had him in the 7th round, and people were like, you're putting the fucking rugby player in there. I was like, oh, are you crazy? I said, Stoutland co-signed and held his hand through every step of the way of the foreign IMG process, and he handpicked him. And then when I look back, saw his feet, the way he was moving, I was like, bro, this guy could be something. Like, I'm drafting that dude and stuff. Then he had an official visit. I was like, they have a plan in place for Malata, and he's just every step of the way, he's gotten better. He's gotten bigger. His technique has gotten better. Now we look at Dillard, his technique, like he's going backwards. So, and he hasn't stayed healthy. He'll get it. He might have an opportunity this week to get some reps out there.
Okay, I'll be looking
on
forward
Sunday.
to seeing that.
Yeah, he was at practice on Sunday in pads. I'm not sure what he did in pads, but he might have an opportunity. He's got to, man. Like if the Ravens lurking, dude. Like, we already have Jack Driscoll as a potential swing. So
Right. And I hate to make this comparison, I really do. But Dillard he needs a new scenery, and it kind of reminds me of a number 25 on the Sixers. I feel like a new scenery for him too. What do you think about it? I hate to make that comparison, but come on now.
I mean, I have
What?
shout out to Mark Bird. This guy, he's a fan of our show. He sent Ben Simmons socks to give away. I'm like, we're gonna only have a couple more weeks to give these away, dude, because I don't know how long he's gonna be a Sixer for. But that whole new scenery thing, it's either, I don't know, like that moment when he got into a fight with Derek Barnett and when he started crying.
Yeah.
At camp. I was like, oh. And then he's been getting eaten up in camp, dude. Everyone's had their way.
I know.
Everyone's had their way.
It's just so bad with he had all this potential and now he's getting beat by everybody in training camp and practice. It's getting bad.
And then the fact that he was getting first team reps is like they were trying that could be a sign of them trying to put on like everyone was like, even in preseason, ESPN had him as like first in the depth chart. I'm like, bro, that's all wrong. It's Mailata's job.
Yep.
Like, but if they're trying to put up his trade value, the cat's out the bag now.
Yeah. All right, so we're coming in on hour 18. I thank you for coming on, my guys. It's a real pleasure. I mean, I watch your stuff all the time. Like, I really love this. Thank you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. And it's a pleasure to watch you guys flourish, man, and watch you guys put out talent. I mean, put out content. And a lot of you dudes, man, are talented, man. And you guys know your stuff. And it's about being a part of the community. I've met some of these guys that are in the chat. I've met in person. And this is what it's about. And, getting out and meeting all these Eagles content creators and just being a part of the community. I'm thankful to be on your platform today.
Yeah, maybe I could be on 4th and Jawn, maybe.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. We cycle people in and out, man. We do a lot of live streams and stuff like that. Would love to have you on.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to 4th and Jawn already, what are you doing? Like, seriously, these guys are the best when it comes to the Eagles. So sub up this guy, please. All right.
Hey, and if you guys want to come out and tailgate during the season, we will be tailgating. So get out there, have a good time, enjoy your Eagles, and we'd love to. So you have
season tickets? Season tickets?
Yeah, well, I bought. I'm set for the year. I bought my tickets. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I can't even shoot those. I'm dead. I'm done. Oh. Did you
a bad shot, Aaron?
But for me, it's like you see these highlight clips of him like playing shoot around or whatever, and I'm like, don't get me started on that, please. I'm gonna do a live stream probably tomorrow or Wednesday, just like roasting everything about that clip. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah, Birdman's a trip, dude.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch you all later. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. It's in the description. 4th and Jawn is in the description as well. Go give them a subscribe. They know their shit. And yeah, guys, peace. We'll catch you all later.
All right, guys.